The Fortnite Pro-AM is officially back. Today I'm going to analyse all 20 duos. I'll rank them on a tier list from the winners to the lobby fillers, but before any of that I want to give some initial thoughts on the tournament. Now if you don't know, Epic aren't running this as a one-off event like they did last year. Instead it's going to be a series of different tournaments all throughout the year, all across different regions, the first of which being the NA edition. Now the first thing you'll notice from taking a look at this lineup is that there's a lot less Fortnite specific content creators, especially as compared to last year. There's not going to be Cypher PK, no Nick A30, no Courage, none of the X-Set girls. It's going to be very different. Instead, Epic have chosen to include some IRL streamers. It does seem like they're trying to get Fortnite competitive in front of a new audience, which could be exciting. It definitely feels like there's a bigger focus on content, on what happens in the practice room, rather than the actual competitive side of the tournament itself. I do feel like with a lot of these teams, as you're about to see, there is a real imbalance. It does feel like half of them have no conceivable route to victory because some of the duos are just too strong. Now listen, I'm not a huge fan of the regional splits for this tournament. I do feel like the beauty of the last Pro-Am was that it brought creators together from all across the globe, and honestly I just feel like that's the spirit of a LAN event. If you're gonna just have a LAN with everyone from the same region, it may as well just be an online only event. But listen, I don't want to complain too much. Ideally I would have preferred one big Pro-Am, but we are still getting some great tournaments and I am very excited. Now listen, let's get straight into analysing all 20 duos. I'm going to start off with the team that I think are the clear favourites to win. I know it's boring to mention them up front, but it is so blatant that they are going to win. Peterbot and Jynxzi are going to be primed up in this tournament, and the reason for that is because of the meta. Now listen, there's a lot of players in this tournament that are not that good at Fortnite, as you're about to see. So because of that, the team that will do the best is the one that can set up kill farms the most consistently. In reload, getting kills is the main thing. Placement does matter, but as we saw from the last Pro-Am, it's the team that can consistently find eliminations that will win. And well, I mean, Peterbot and Jynxzi are going to be the best at that. Peterbot is the best player in the world for a reason. Jynxzi is very capable. I would argue that he is a better player than Aussie Antics. I do think Aussie played his role very well for that tournament. He was humble, he knew what was expected of him, and Jynxzi does definitely have an error in him, but I do think that Fax may bring something a little bit different, but he does have great chemistry with Pete. He is one of the stronger creators in this lobby, so for me, Peterbot and Jynxzi are the clear winners. Now there are a lot of other teams that could contend for the win though, one of them being Reet and Fraanticc, and I feel like this is a really underrated duo. Of course you've got two controller players, so I will be rooting for them. I mean, if you're looking at the creators, Fraanticc is one of the best because she is literally just a competitive player. You've got the same thing with Muzz and Somerset, who I'll get onto in a minute. There is such a gulf in the quality of these creators. You've got people that have barely ever played Fortnite before compared with people that literally play in tournaments, so the balancing is questionable. I do think Reet and Fraanticc are going to do very well in this comp, and honestly if it wasn't for the fact that Pete was in this lobby, they may well have been my picks to win. I do just think that Peterbot and Jynxzi, you can't really overthink it, they will just win. But Reet and Fraanticc, a top team. Another top duo is of course Clix and Lacey. Now this is a team that could certainly contend for that #1 spot. Lacey is back in form, he's playing the game, he finished top 25 in his first divisional cup back with ARC over on NA West, so he has been showing a lot lately. I've been very impressed with what I've seen from him. He did underperform a little bit in the last Pro-Am with Clix, but I do think they've come a long way since then, and realistically if they can't finish inside the top 3, I do think that's a disappointment. They are certainly one of the duos that could contend with Peterbot and Jynxzi. Now one of the duos that will have the most eyes on them during this event is Poyo and Jynxzi. Of course Jynxzi has been showing a huge interest in Fortnite competitive as of late, which is great. He's been bringing the game in front of a new audience, and playing with Poyo is a great setup for him. Jynxzi is by no means good at the game, I think that's fair to say, but Poyo is an excellent solo clutcher. He has a real aptitude for it. Of course in the Summer LAN he hit 2 incredible clutches, so I do just feel like this could potentially be the perfect event for them. I don't think they're going to do too well because Jynxzi isn't quite on the level as some of the other creators, but with Poyo in the team I do think they'll finish inside the top half. Next up we've got Cold and his partner Ash Alk, someone who I hadn't heard of before the lineups were announced. I don't really watch a lot of these IRL streamers, so you're going to hear that a lot more in this video. It seems like he makes some prank style content, some investigative style stuff. We do have some footage of him playing the game, and I have to say it's not that great. I did watch through a pretty big chunk of this VOD from October of last year, and I didn't see him edit a single build, so I'm not sure we can expect too much from him, especially given the fact that Cold probably won't be the perfect teammate. I don't think they're going to build up too much chemistry before the event. Of course, if you remember the last Pro-Am, Courage was desperately trying to get in contact with Cold and he was getting ignored. Listen, Cold will solo clutch a few few games. They will get some points, but overall, I think there's teams that are better than them, and I don't think they're going to finish too high up on the leaderboard. Next up, we've got Sphinx and Raw Dog Moon. Again, Raw Dog Moon, another IRL streamer, someone that I hadn't really heard of too much. He was farming views from the Abigalina stuff before. I feel like I'm honestly too old to be discussing this stuff. I don't know. We're going to move on from that. There is some footage of him playing Fortnite. Again, he doesn't really have that much experience. I'm not holding out hope for these guys. I don't think they're going to finish too high either, so I'm putting them in the lobby filler category. Next up, though, we've got Rapid and Typical Gamer, and this is certainly a duo that could finish very high. Rapid is a very capable IGL, and Typical Gamer can follow pretty comfortably. I have to say, I was very impressed with him at the last Pro-Am. Of course, he killed Peterbot in the game that ended up being voided, so he's shown that he can hang with the best. He's shown that he can hold his own against pros, and I feel like there's a very high ceiling for these guys. Certainly a top 5. I think a top 3 could be on the cards. Now, I mentioned them earlier. We've got Muzz and Somerset playing together. Now, on paper, this is a really strong team, although I have to say, when Somerset played the last Pro-Am with Thomas HD, I thought they'd do really well, and they did slightly underperform, so I do wonder if potentially we could see history repeat itself. But listen, these are two top quality players. Muzz is a great pro. Somerset is someone who's played competitive for years now, so they should be finishing pretty high. We've got Canada in this tournament, and he will be playing with Arky, who is another IRL/desktop streamer. He's played the game a little bit, but hasn't shown too much ability. I don't feel like they're going to do too well. I am going to put them in the lobby filler category for this tier list. Next up, though, we've got Booger and Yugi. Now, Booger is probably one of the weaker pros in the lobby, but he did, of course, recently make the EWC LAN, so he has shown some sparks, some signs of life. Now, Yugi is another IRL streamer, surprise, surprise, and honestly, of all of them, he does seem like one of the more capable players. That's not really a crazy achievement by any means, but I did see a few things that I liked in this footage, so I'm going to put Booger and Yugi in the OK tier instead of in with the lobby fillers. We've got Victor V and Crackley. Now, I do think this is a solid team as well. Crackley is a zero build player, so he is someone that is very used to playing Fortnite, and honestly, compared to a lot of these creators, he will be one of the stronger options. Victor V, of course, needs no introduction, one of the best prospects over in NA right now, so these guys should be one of the stronger teams. I'm going to put them in the solid section. I do think there's a chance they could contend, but I think solid is fair for now. Venno and Stable Ronaldo. Now, this might be a bit controversial. I'm also going to put them in the solid tier. On paper, you might be thinking they have to be a contender to win. You've got Venno, who is literally the reigning NA Central FNCS champion. Stable Ronaldo, who is the only creator to have won an FNCS tournament. I mean, surely these guys should be doing well. I think the vibes may not be there. We did see that apparently Venno has blocked Stable Ronaldo on Discord. I don't quite know what's up with that, but honestly, these are two players that have been known to tilt. Ron, of course, always struggled with the mental side of his game when he was competing. If they can somehow keep the vibes good, I do think there's a high ceiling for them, but I don't know. I could see that being an issue down the line. I could see them struggling, so I'm not going to put them in the contenders category. However, one team that have a very realistic shot of winning the whole thing is Cooper and Zemi. Now, they came second in the most recent Pro-Am. They put in a great performance. The only issue with their gameplay was that they simply did not get enough eliminations. They were great for placement. Cooper was IGLing excellently. Zemi was following beautifully. It was a really solid performance, but in the reload meta, you simply have to be getting kills regularly, and they weren't quite managing that. And honestly, I do think history may repeat itself because Peterbot's firepower is just too much to stop, and Faxasy will be contributing to this time. But listen, Cooper and Zemi, they could still win. I do think anything outside of the top 3 would be a massive shock. Okay, so all the remaining creators are people that aren't really associated with Fortnite. We've got Rise and A2 Guapo. A2 Guapo is another IRL guy. It's worth noting that most of these IRL streamers are all friends with each other. It does feel like this tournament is the convergence of two main communities, Fortnite and IRL streaming, which could be very interesting to see. Now, from taking a look at A2 Guapo's gameplay, he's not the worst, but he's certainly not crazy. There's not a huge amount of ability, and Rise is also one of the weaker pros in this lobby too, so I'm going to have to stick these guys in the lobby fillers category. Iomzo and Yusuf are a team that I do think may surprise a few people. Yusuf is part of the Code Collective alongside A2 Guapo and Ash Out from earlier. I'm learning a lot today about these IRL streamers. Listen, Yusuf isn't great at the game by any means, but he can at least build and edit. You'll notice here that his mechanics are slightly outdated, but is much better than a lot of the other streamers in this lobby. I'm going to place these guys in the OK okay tier, I do think Yusuf shows enough here to get out of the lobby fillers. We've got Acorn and Muda playing together. Now Muda is a Valorant guy, someone who I actually have heard of before. I do remember him 1v1ing Peterbot on Valorant quite a few times, and honestly he's actually okay at Fortnite. He can build, his mechanics are pretty solid. I wouldn't say he's particularly good by any means, but I think outside of all the Fortnite specific people and obviously Lacey and Ron, he probably is the strongest. And with Acorn leading, there is a very high ceiling, so I'm going to stick these guys in the solid category. But one team that won't be anywhere near that high up on the list is Bolts and Primate Page. Primate Page is another IRL/desktop streamer, and the only footage I could find of her playing Fortnite is from this proximity chat match, which didn't really show a lot, so I'm going to have to put them in the lobby fillers. I haven't really seen enough to prove otherwise. It's the same kind of deal with Ritual and Richie. Richie is a Rainbow Six Siege player. I just realized that both of their names sound very similar, which is kind of funny. I wonder if that's why they put them together. Again, we do have some footage of Richie playing the game. This is from the OG tournament back towards the end of 2024, and I wouldn't say he's showing a particularly large amount of skill, so I'm going to have to put them in the lobby fillers as well. Next up, we've got Aegis and his teammate Hammy, who is another Valorant creator, someone that I'd not heard of before the lineup announcement, but the first thing I did notice is that he has the same headset as Stable Ronaldo, which is kind of funny. His Fortnite skills could definitely use some work. It does seem like his building's pretty rudimentary, so for that reason, these guys are going in the lobby fillers category. The final duo is Higgs and Braden. Braden is, you guessed it, another IRL streamer, and he is the only player that I could not find any Fortnite footage for, so I don't really have anything to go off, and based on that, I'm just going to have to stick them in the lobby fillers, but who knows, maybe Braden will surprise me. Now listen, this lineup does look pretty interesting, but if you want to see what a dream Pro-Am would look like, check out this video on screen now, where me and Concussion battled to create the greatest tournament of all time.